You may wake up most mornings feeling fine. Not sick, not dizzy, not in pain. But something feels slightly off. Your hands don't quite cooperate at breakfast. A word slips away your balance feels uncertain for a moment, then returns. You brush it off. You tell yourself this is just what aging feels like, and doctors often tell you the same thing. Your tests look normal. Your scans look fine. Your numbers fall into the right boxes. So why does your body feel like it's quietly changing anyway? Here's the part almost no one explains. For many older adults, the most vulnerable moment of the entire day is not during stress, exercise, or illness. It's the first hour after waking. Not because you're weak, not because you're doing something wrong, but because the aging body responds very differently to morning routines than it once did, and tiny habits during that first hour can quietly shape brain health, balance, and circulation for years. Most people never connect the dots. They never realize the warning signs were whispering, not shouting. Estai with me. Because by the end of this video, you'll understand why perfectly ordinary mornings have been silently straining the aging brain, and how small, precise changes can restore safety, clarity, and confidence without effort or fear. You were probably taught that consistency is the key to health. Wake up at the same time. Drink your coffee. Take your medications. Sit and ease into the day. And for decades, that worked. But after 60, the body changes in quiet ways that routines don't always keep up with. Digestion slows. Hormonal rhythms shift. Blood thickens slightly overnight. Blood vessels don't expand as quickly as they used to. Think of your circulation like an old garden hose. It still works, but it doesn't flex as easily when pressure suddenly changes. Morning is when that pressure changes fast. When you awake, your body moves from hours of stillness into activity. Blood pressure rises. Stress hormones naturally increase. The brain demands more oxygen. In younger bodies, this transition is smooth. In aging bodies, it's fragile. And that's why habits that seem healthy on the surface can quietly backfire in the morning. Let me show you what this looks like in real life. An older gentleman woke every morning and did what he had done for decades. He brewed strong black coffee and drank it immediately. No water, no food, just coffee. He felt fine at first, but over time, he noticed something subtle. At breakfast, his hands felt clumsy. Simple words escaped him for a few seconds at a time. Nothing dramatic, nothing that felt urgent. And because his tests looked normal, no one worried. What no one explained is that during sleep, the body naturally loses water. Blood becomes thicker. Circulation slows slightly. Coffee, especially first thing in the morning, tightens blood vessels even more. So instead of waking the brain gently, his routine briefly reduced blood flow to small areas of the brain. Not enough to cause a major stroke, but enough to cause tiny, silent injuries. When his morning routine changed water first, coffee later, those symptoms disappeared completely. Not because coffee is bad, but because timing matters more than people realize after 60. And this pattern shows up again and again. Another man believed in starting his day slowly and calmly. He would sit on the edge of his bed each morning, checking messages and reading the news. 20 minutes would pass. Sometimes more. It felt peaceful, but during that stillness, gravity pulled blood into his legs. His brain received less circulation during the very moment it needed more. Over time, he noticed brain fog, a slight tremor in his hands, vision that drifted in and out. He assumed this was aging. In reality, it was circulation. Once he shortened that sitting time and added gentle movement, the symptoms faded. Not exercise, just movement. The body after 60 doesn't need intensity. It needs precision. Here's the misunderstanding that traps so many people. Most believe that strokes and brain injuries come from sudden, dramatic events. A collapse, a severe headache, a medical emergency. But in older adults, damage often happens quietly, in moments that feel ordinary, in routines that feel safe. Tiny disruptions in blood flow can briefly starve small regions of the brain. These don't always cause pain. They don't always leave obvious signs. But they accumulate, and they often begin in the morning. Why? Because the body is changing states faster than it can adapt, standing too quickly, straining, skipping nourishment. Emotional stress layered onto natural hormonal surges. Each alone seems harmless. Together, they strain a system that no longer rebounds as quickly. Consider a woman who rushed to the bathroom the moment she woke. The urgency felt real. She stood quickly. She hurried. She strained. Sometimes she felt dizzy. Once or twice, her vision briefly darkened. She blamed age. But sudden standing causes blood pressure to drop before it rises. Straining spikes pressure sharply, that swing down, then up constress delicate brain vessels. Once she slowed down, paused before standing, and reduced urgency, the episodes stopped. Nothing dramatic changed. Just timing. Another man skipped breakfast entirely. He drank coffee and took his medications on an empty stomach. By mid-morning, he felt shaky, confused. Words felt just out of reach. Low blood sugar, dehydration, medication absorption spikes. Together, they created instability. Once he added a small morning meal, clarity returned. Not more food, just the right amount, at the right time. And then, there's emotional stress. One veteran began each day watching tense news coverage. His body was already experiencing a natural morning rise in stress hormones. The news amplified it. Blood pressure surged. Visual disturbances followed. When he replaced that habit with calm breathing and light movement, the episodes vanished. The brain doesn't distinguish between emotional and physical stress. It just responds. Perhaps the most deceptive case is the person who believes their numbers are fine. A man checked his blood pressure every evening. It looked perfect, but he experienced brief confusion and blurred vision in the mornings. Only when he measured pressure shortly after waking did the truth appear. Dangerous spikes were happening when no one was looking. Once medication timing changed, symptoms resolved. The danger wasn't constant. It was timed. And finally, the man who believed stillness was the healthiest choice of all. He sat quietly reading each morning. No rush, no stress, yet stillness allowed blood to stagnate. Small clots formed, silent injuries accumulated. 5 minutes of light movement changed everything. The danger was not effort. It was inactivity at the wrong moment. Here's the reassuring truth. None of these people needed extreme interventions. No dramatic treatments. No exhausting routines. They needed alignment. After 60, health is no longer about pushing harder. It's about cooperating with how the body now works. Water before stimulation. Gentle movement before stillness. Food before medication, when appropriate. Pauses before standing. Calm before stress. Morning is not the time to test the body. It's the time to support it. Think of the first hour as a bridge. You're moving from stillness to activity. A stable bridge allows safe passage. A rushed or neglected bridge creates cracks. Small ones, silent ones, but preventable ones. Aging does not mean fragility. It means sensitivity. The body gives signals earlier now. Quieter signals. And when you learn to listen, you gain control again. Nothing here suggests decline is inevitable. What's inevitable is change. And understanding change restores power. You are not failing. Your body is adapting. And with a few precise adjustments, it can continue to serve you well. If you're watching this and thinking, that explains so much, you're not alone. Share your age and what surprised you most in the comments. Your experience may help someone else feel understood for the first time. If this calm, practical approach to aging health resonates with you, consider subscribing. Not for fear, not for hype, but for clarity. Because the most powerful health changes after 60 are often the quietest ones, and they begin with understanding.